Nightfall in New York City. For visitors, exciting, challenging, at times intimidating. But the Houston Rockets arrived this week anything but awed by the surroundings and determined not to allow New York to set the tone for these NBA Finals. The Rockets quickly established their position, taking an early lead in Game 3, then holding New York off down the stretch, negating the Knicks' home court advantage and leaving them down 2-1 in the series. To be sure, the script called for Houston's marquee player to have his moments. But when the star faded, other members of the cast stepped up. There was Vernon Maxwell slashing, Robert Horry emoting, and the unexpected, exuberant rookie Sam Cassell delivering the game winner. As the curtain rises now on Game 4, Patrick Ewing and the Knicks must reject the notion that the Rockets can win again on this stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please find your seats. After a two-night intermission, the basketball theater continues with Game 4. It's the Knicks and the Rockets. Next.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1994 NBA Finals. Tonight, Game 4 between the Houston Rockets and the New York Knicks.
From Times Square to Madison Square Garden, topic A in New York is sports. Last night, history was made in this building as the previously star-crossed Rangers won the Stanley Cup for the first time in more than half a century. And now, for the second time in less than 24 hours, Madison Square Garden is the place to be, this time for Game 4 between the Knicks and the Rockets, with Houston leading the series 2-1. Hi again, everyone. I'm Bob Costas. For the record, the Stanley Cup and NBA title have never been won by teams from the same city. New York is to experience that unprecedented combination. A Knick victory tonight is nearly imperative. With a loss, they go down 3-1. And for perspective's sake, only 4 teams have ever come back from a 3-1 deficit to win an NBA playoff series. And it's never happened in the finals. Earlier this week, the Rockets' Hakeem Olajuwon said the Knicks' chances of pulling out of a 3-1 hole would be about the same as a fan coming out of the stands to sink a half-court shot. Meanwhile, the Knicks' mood was slightly heavier. Pat Riley described the 3 days of waiting for Game 4 as torture. And Patrick Ewing, no doubt, was deep in thought himself, trying to figure out how he could possibly shoot the ball 29 times in Game 3 without once stepping to the free throw line. We'll let Marvin Matt step to the mic to explain that. Marvelous.
All right, Bob, and when people talk about the New York Knicks, they think of a very physical, at times, Matt, a hammering over-the-line style ball club. But at the offensive end in this series, they have not been as aggressive as Pat Riley would like to see.
Well, the New York Knicks are settling for too many jump shots and not getting to the foul line nearly enough. And the big difference in the 2 New York losses, a -23 in attempts. And you can see the result in fewer points scored from the line. And Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, and Derek Harper will need to create some contact along the way. And Ewing especially has to battle for better position around the basket because 2 free throws a game is incredibly low. But that's what a great shot blocker like Hakeem Olajuwon will do to you. Nevertheless, Pat Riley wants his team to take the ball to the basket and challenge Olajuwon.
And the last 2 games of this series have been dramatically affected by the ups and downs of the rookie out of Florida State, Sam Cassell. For example, in game number 2, it was not a good one for Sam, and the Knicks beat the Rockets. In game 3 here on Sunday night, Cassell was just sensational down the stretch.
Well, Rudy Tomjanovich is not really sure what he's going to get from Sam Cassell down the stretch, but there figures to be some excitement involved. Here are just a couple of reasons why Sam is the designated closer for the Rockets. He has that creative ability to break the defense down and challenge Patrick Ewing in the lane. And when Hakeem Olajuwon draws a crowd inside, to fire away from beyond the three-point arc. And while everybody is telling him about the pressure he should be feeling in the finals, Sam Cassell is oblivious. He's just having a good time playing basketball.
All right, for more on the Rockets and the Knicks, we have reports from both Ahmad Rashad and Hannah Storm. Let's begin with Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Marv. I visited the Knicks locker room, and it is not a panic situation. They're very loose and ready to play. Now, in terms of injuries, Charles Oakley has been playing the last couple of games with a couple of badly sprained feet. Now, I know he doesn't like to talk about it. He says that on Sunday, it was the worst his feet ever felt, and he wasn't able to play the reckless style that it has been so important to the Knicks' success this entire season. He said it's a day-to-day thing, and today his feet feel fine. He said that's important because in his own words, he said this is the most important game of the entire series. Now, for more on the Houston situation, let's go down to Hannah Storm.
Thanks, Ahmad. Well, much has been made of the fact that Akeem Olajuwon is only a combined 2 for 11 in the fourth quarters of this series. But I talked with Akeem just before the game, and he told me that he is not fatigued, as everyone has speculated. He said, here's the problem. The New York Knicks are not getting me any good shots, and I don't want to take any bad ones. He says he would rather pass the ball and have his teammates carry the offensive load down the stretch, although he's a little disappointed the other night that Sam Cassell got all the credit for the game-winning three-pointer, and nobody talked about the poor guy who passed him the ball, Akeem Olajuwon. He was pretty proud of that assist. And he finally told me that this is his philosophy at this point in his career. He would rather score less and win than score 48 and lose. Marv?
Thank you, Hannah. Coming up, Game 4 of the best-of-7 NBA Final. The Knicks looking at tonight as a must-win, seeking to tie the series at 2. The Rockets hoping to take a 3-1 lead.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold. By Pennzoil, the motor oil you can rely on for performance, protection, and quality. And by the all-new Mitsubishi Galant, filled with your favorite things.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden in New York as we get ready for Game 4 of this best-of-7 NBA Finals series. A look at the Houston starting lineup. You saw the backcourt up front. It's Akeem Olajuwon with Otis Thorpe and Robert Horry. And the coach, Rudy Tomjanovich, he has stressed defense and hustle, and he has been so significant in revitalizing this franchise. His 24th consecutive season with the Rockets as a player, scout, assistant coach, and now head coach. The New York Knicks with Derek Harper and John Starks at the guards. Both have performed in solid fashion the last 2 games. Up front, Patrick Ewing coming off the 9 for 29 shooting on Sunday night. Charles Oakley still bothered by the ankle sprain, and Charles Smith are up front. Pat Riley hoping for a faster start. The Knicks were down 11-2 here on Sunday night, and the Knicks feel they allowed too many layups right at the start. The officials, Joe Crawford, who also worked game number 1 of this series, Mike Mathis, his 11th NBA Finals game, and Hugh Evans handling his 23rd Finals contest. It will be Akeem Olajuwon and Patrick Ewing on the opening jump. Akeem 8 for 20 with 21 points, 11 rebounds, 7 blocked shots. In game number 4, the Knicks control the tip. Harper played by Smith. Charles Smith. Hustled down by Charles Oakley. Open shot for Patrick Ewing. And Derek Harper keeps it alive. Ewing with a twisting shot rejected. Ewing on the follow.
Well, Marv, when you get 4 cracks at it, you should be able to finally get a good shot. You can't get a better one than that, but the Knicks showed some patience in their early execution, got good shots. Didn't get the shots to fall, but of course got those 3 and 4 extra opportunities.
Smith trying to work off the pick. Akeem Olajuwon Olajuwon draws the double team. Kicks it out to Otis Thorpe. Oakley on the run and fouled by Maxwell.
Well, Patrick Ewing wheeling and dealing here in the lane. Off-balance shot knocked away by Olajuwon, but Patrick stays with it to get the follow-up. And the Knicks want to run as much as possible from their defense. And you don't see this too often with Charles Oakley getting out ahead of the pack. And Charles figures to be a key player for the Knicks tonight. He looked hobbled the other night with the sprained left ankle, the bruised right foot. And he is needed so much for the Knicks as far as hustle is concerned at the defensive end. And anything he can give him offensively is a plus.
So the Knicks are getting to the line early, which has to please Pat Riley, although he'd like the shots to go down. Charles Oakley, as you mentioned, has been in pain first 3 games of the series. He bruised his right foot in the first game of the East Finals against Indiana, then sprained his left ankle in Game 4, and that ankle is still swollen. The Knicks 3, the Rockets nothing. Eric Harper pressing Kenny Smith. Robert Horry, played by Charles Smith. Illegal defense called for the first time against the Knicks.
John Starks on the weak side, right in that slot area, ready to help in the lane if Otis Thorpe got anything going there. But got caught in the lane for 2.9 seconds. Kind of a different start for the Rockets as far as looking for Thorpe on that side of the floor. The left side, he usually operates better on that right box.
We are just underway. Minute and a half gone by. Vernon Maxwell only 5 for 15 the other night. Had his pass broken up by Oakley. Starks on the drive was able to get it off to Ewing. Oakley, and a foul is called. Loose ball foul on Charles Oakley, who has been exploding here at the start of the game.
And Marv, are you counting the times he has gone to the floor in his first 2 minutes? I think it's 4, as John Starks out of control, able to get that ball to Ewing, which should have been a good shot, but the offensive foul on Oakley climbing on the black.
I get the idea Charles is trying to show that the ankle is all right. Maxwell. And a foul call. Hakeem Olajuwon called for his first.
Well, when the Knicks have tried to front Olajuwon, he has gotten away with this in a couple of games previously where he grabs the leg of the defender behind him to try to hold him behind. Didn't get away with it this time.
Kenny Smith picks up the foul. Well, we played just under 2 minutes in this first quarter, and already Patrick Ewing has attempted 4 shots. Charles Oakley implied yesterday after practice that Ewing is shooting too much. That has been the topic of conversation following the game on Sunday night. Charles Smith gets inside, and the Knicks lead 5-0. You know, Matt, the Knicks went through a stretch earlier this season where unnamed players were complaining about the offense, the feeling that Ewing was taking too many shots. Good defense here by the Knicks. Maxwell eluding Starks. Maxwell with a nice move, but came up short. Oakley with the rebound. Patrick Ewing feels, though, they have been good shots, and he just feels he has to hit them. Here's Stark kicking it out. Oakley. The Knicks getting off to the fast start in contrast to what happened here on Sunday. And a 20-second timeout taken by the Rockets.
This is a good perimeter shot because it was off a drive by John Starks along the baseline, and Charles Oakley had a nice long look at it and got the shooter's touch there. And Marv, you're talking about the shots of Patrick Ewing. He's taken 4. He got a wide open jumper and 3 inside shots.
Well, the Knicks are approaching this as a desperation game, trailing 2-1. Game number 1 in Houston. Rockets won it. Otis Thorpe had that solid all-around performance. Game number 2 last Friday night at the Summit. John Starks able to turn it from the 3 of 18 with 19 points along with 9 assists. That tied the series. And here on Sunday, the Rockets with a 93-89 victory as Sam Cassell took charge in the 4th quarter. And a foul is called on Derek Harper. That is his first. The Knicks off to a 7-0 start, and this building still rocking from last night's New York Rangers Stanley Cup victory is rocking here in the early moments. We played 2 minutes and 49 seconds, and the Rockets have attempted only 2 shots.
Well, the New York defense, and Pat Riley wants his team to get back to being the New York Knicks at the defensive end, which means tough, physical, aggressive.
And Hakeem Olajuwon with the Rockets' first field goal. The Knicks 7, and the Rockets 2. Oakley with the turnaround. Well, Charles Oakley has also made it clear that he feels he should be getting more shots. He's been hitting the outside shot, and he's off to the good start. Bad pass, and the ball goes back to New York.
Well, Patrick Ewing trying to front Olajuwon in the lane, and Otis Thorpe looked like a bad pass at first, but it hung up long enough. Once it got over the outstretched arm of Patrick Ewing, Olajuwon had nothing to do but finish easily.
Third turnover by Houston. Here the early going. Starks too strong for Ewing.
Well, you mentioned about Charles Oakley not getting enough shots. Of course, he's a player that the Knicks don't run a lot of plays for, but he'll get the kind of shots where somebody drives and throws it back out. But in Game 3, the Knicks were not doing that. They were settling either for the first jump shot, or Patrick Ewing was getting way out on the floor and shooting shots from there.
And over the first 2 games, Oakley was being presented with a number of open shots. Rockets not respecting his touch. Ori fired the 3, recovered by Maxwell. And crowd wanted a palming violation on Vernon Maxwell. Olajuwon off the dribble, throws back out. Here's Maxwell for 3. Ewing on the rebound. The Knicks 9, the Rockets 2. Oakley had Oakley swinging the elbows to get some room from Ori, and a blocking foul is called on Kenny Smith.
So far at the offensive end, the Rockets doing their inside-outside game, which has been so successful to them all year long. Inside Olajuwon looks for what he can get, and not kick it out. Both of these teams keep breaking the 3-point attempt record, as Kenny Smith will go to the bench as he tried to put a little bit of too much pressure on Derek Harper.
And the Houston Rockets hero from game number 3, Sam Cassell, has checked in early in the first quarter. Smith off a beautiful fake. Charles Smith with the good move, but could not put it down, and then the foul is called. It's on Oakley. That is his second.
Well, Charles Smith very aggressive so far in taking the ball to the basket. This time he takes off just about a half a step too far out. Just does not have that explosiveness in his legs to finish with the power dunk.
High energy start here at Madison Square Garden. Sam Cassell dribbled it out of bounds. Turns it over. And now here's Anthony Mason checking in, replacing Charles Oakley, who picked up the 2 personal fouls. Ewing draws the double team. Smith from deep. The Knicks 11. The Rockets 2.
So far, the Knicks are moving the ball in the half-court offense, much as they did in Game 2 in Houston, and it was very successful for them there.
And the Knicks have matched the 11-2 start of the Rockets here on Game 3. Thorpe not able to hit. Back come the Knicks. 3-on-2. Starks pulls it up. Yes. And Rudy comes out of it. Wants to talk it over. As we discussed earlier, Sunday night in Game 3, Patrick Ewing attempted 29 shots. Now, how does that match up with his normal flow? Well, during the regular season, he averaged 19 shots per game. First 3 rounds of the playoffs, he averaged just under 18 shots per game. And here in the finals, over the first 3 games, he averaged just under 25 shots per game, and he's shooting only 35% the first 3 games.
And a big reason for those big numbers, Mark. Game 3, 29 shots. That'll bring that average up very quickly, and most of them were jump shots. Patrick has to mix backs it up because he is a good jump shooter, but he also has to drive a little bit and post up inside.
Hopper with the steal, went behind the back, nearly coughed it up. Now the Knicks have to race to get it over the 10-second line, and they do. Charles Smith able to handle it. The Knicks with a 13-2 lead. Hopper for three. And it's rebounded by Maxwell, and he was out of bounds. Had the foot on the baseline.
Another good shot for New York, the three-pointer as it went inside to Patrick Ewing, double team, throws it out, and Dirk's been shooting it very well on that rebound by Vernon Maxwell, coming down with the left foot right on the line.
Very quickly, the Rockets with 5 turnovers, Knicks with only 1. Offensive foul called on Smith. As he looked to get position, he was called for pushing out, and the ball goes back to the Rockets. Along with the turnover problems, Rockets have hit only 1 of 6 from the field.
Charles Smith pushing off with that off arm, the left arm, to try to get better position and catch and shoot all in one motion. Really has to protect the passer and make sure he catches the ball first.
Just under 6 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Olajuwon. And Joe Crawford with the call down low against the Knicks. Anthony Mason complaining, and Crawford went right back at him. The foul was called on Charles Smith. And now a substitution, Anthony Bonner, who saw his first action in this series and provided spark on Sunday night in Game 3, has checked in, and Charles Smith will depart. Smith with second personal foul, 2 out of 4 from the field.
Talked to Anthony Bonner before the ball game, asked him how he was feeling. He got hurt on that fast break finish, the inside of his left ankle. Went to the hospital after the game, couldn't run yesterday. Really didn't think he'd be able to play tonight, but now with some foul problems for New York, he's on the floor.
Starks very effective in stopping the dribble of Maxwell. Cassell gets it to Thorpe. Shot clock at 5. Maxwell for 3. Rockets are being forced into taking poor shots, and they are 1 of 8 from the field. Knicks 13, the Rockets 2. Mason posting up. Mason on a fadeaway. And back comes Maxwell. The lead for Cassell, broken up by Mason. Anthony Mason, who handles the ball so well, leading Stark, sets up Bonner. Knicks 15, Rockets 2, and the Knicks are flying here at the start. Ewing stepping in, nearly picked it off. Olajuwon on the recovery. Maxwell switching hands on the dribble. Ewing with the rebound. Here comes Hopper. And then decides to pull it back. And then shoots it and hits.
All of this starting with a swarming New York defense, just making life miserable for the Rockets. They cannot get a good look at the basket, and the Knicks are turning it into offense for themselves.
The Rockets with only 2 points, and we have 4:15 remaining in the first quarter. Hopper with another terrific defensive play, and then he and Cassell have some words. But a foul has been called, or a technical foul now being indicated. Joe Crawford calling a technical foul on Hopper. Well, apparently Hopper had something to say as he was called for a personal foul as he stripped Cassell. And already hits the tee. But the Rockets only their 3rd point of this first quarter.
Well, Pat Riley and the Knicks have been talking about it for 2 days, the importance of getting off to a good start at both ends of the floor. And Rudy Tomjanovich has been telling his team about it. They expected this, they just can't do anything about it right now.
Olajuwon off the fake. Cassell for 3. Yes. Sam Cassell hitting a 3-pointer, and the Knicks now lead 17-6. 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. And the call being made against the Rockets. Now a double foul is called. Looked like Harper and Cassell were called. Harper is upset.
He's got to be careful. He's a little out of sorts right now. After that three-pointer by Cassell, Derek Harper uncharacteristically went down and wanted to post up the rookie, asking for the ball. And while he was somewhat battling for position, a little contact between Derek Harper and Sam Cassell, the double foul.
Derek Harper hearing it from the crowd. He has excelled in this series, sitting down after collecting his second foul. And Greg Anthony, who has not been able to get into the flow, has checked in. So Anthony and Starks now in the backcourt. Ewing up front with Bonner and Mason. Again, Mason looking to post up, and he's called for a traveling violation.
It seems like once a game, Anthony Mason is getting himself in a position where he has a habit of shuffling the feet a little bit, and he's being called on it.
Cassell and Maxwell at the guards. Olajuwon, Ori, Thorpe up front. Olajuwon beating Ewing and could not convert. Ewing controls. Look away, intended for Bonner. Try to save it, could not. Goes flying into the crowd.
Well, the Rockets spreading the floor and trying to take advantage of the front by Patrick Ewing. Once again, this lob pass by Otis Thorpe, another good one. But Olajuwon unable to gather his feet and make a strong finish.
The Knicks off to an electrifying start here in this first quarter. Intent coming in, not allowing Houston to get off to the kind of fast start that they did the other night. Maxwell with a beautiful move. So Maxwell with his first field goal, the Knicks 17, and the Rockets 8. 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Cassell took it away from Anthony. Off the leg of Anthony, able to recapture. Starks for 3. Rebound Bonner. And Bonner's pass, was it deflected or did it carry right through? Well, the call is Bonner threw it away. And it will be Houston ball. 5th turnover by the Knicks. Houston already has 7.
Anthony Bonner hooking a little bit on Thorpe, getting into the lane, trying to shovel to Patrick Ewing, and he threw it out of bounds.
Pat Riley's Knicks off to a 17-8 lead with 2:46 remaining in this first quarter. Pat, very concerned coming into tonight following the Knick performance over the first 3 games, and we talked about it with him.
We have, in the 3 games, been so up and down with our effort that, you know, it's just not going to get it done. I mean, there's no time to be lackadaisical in any way, shape, or form right now. All of the numbers show that we're not doing the job in certain areas, and unless we really step up and dramatically turn those numbers around with a great effort, then we may not get it done. So if our guys want to play for a championship next Sunday night, which they have the opportunity to do, then we got to step up and we got to play and not hope that it's going to happen.
Well, Pat Riley and his coaching staff, they measure everything in defensive effort, and they comb that tape just to see where the problems are. Not enough helps, not enough dig-outs, not getting a body on people, and that's where they start from, and they did not like what they saw in Game 3.
And the kickball giving the Rockets a new 24. Olajuwon, rebound Mason. Hakeem is now 1 of 4 from the field. Rockets have scored the last 6 points. Knicks got off to the 17-2 lead. Houston is only 3 for 13 from the floor in this first quarter as we come up on 2 minutes remaining. Starks followed on the switch by Ori. Shot clock at 3. Ewing to the fadeaway and hits. Patrick Ewing with a desperation shot. Able to drill it.
Took a little peekaboo at the shot clock at the other end of the floor, knew what he had to do. He's happy that thing went down.
Olajuwon with the fake. Nice move by Hakeem. And the Knicks now lead 19-10. The fewest points scored in a quarter in an NBA Finals game, 11. The New York Knicks holding that dubious distinction against the Lakers back in April of 1972. Rockets have 10, but we have 1 minute and 10 remaining in the first quarter. Back comes Cassell. Pass for Maxwell, deflected, but he is able to get to it. Here is Cassell for 3. Rebound 4. Brown wanted to travel. Cassell with the pull-up. Yes, Sam Cassell once again has energized the offense. And the Rockets are now down by 7. This after trailing 17-2. 45 seconds remaining in the first. Stark setting up for the 3. Thorpe with the rebound and protects. Yes. And the Rockets have come roaring back. The Knicks 19, the Rockets 14. Houston with a 12-2 run. The Knicks will hold for a final shot of this opening quarter. Down to 15 seconds remaining. Anthony checking the clock. Anthony going to the left hand to give it to Ewing. Bad shot by Ewing. All air. Horry from center court. After 1, the Knicks, after leading 17-2, were caught as the Houston Rockets were able to turn it. Charles Oakley got off to the good start, but picked up early fouls and sat down after collecting his second. Patrick Ewing is only 2 of 8. And Hakeem Olajuwon is 3 for 6. The Knicks 19, the Rockets 14 after 1. A star-studded crowd here at Madison Square Garden. Jerry Seinfeld is on hand, along with Cindy Crawford. And Madonna wearing, incidentally, Matt, John Stark's number 3 jersey. Let's not read anything into that. Madonna has been hit on a number of occasions. Mark Messier, who certainly has enjoyed the past 24 hours. This the scene of one of the glorious moments in the history of New York sports. Last night, the New York Rangers defeating the Vancouver Canucks 3-2 to win the Stanley Cup, led by Mark Messier, ending the drought. The Rangers' first cup since 1940. In an emotional game last night here at the Garden, and then Messier, the captain of the Rangers, able to parade around the Garden ice, hoisting the Stanley Cup. Second quarter underway. Rockets concluded matters in the first with a 12-2 run. The Knicks had jumped in front 17-2 at the start of the game. It's now only a 5-point lead, 19-14. Oakley back on the floor up front with Mason and Ewing. Again, Mason trying to post up in a crowd. Back tap handled by Ewing. Shot clock is down to 2. Anthony fires. Rebounded by Thorpe on the box out.
Well, to start this second quarter, the Knicks have put Anthony Mason on Olajuwon. Patrick Ewing played him the whole first quarter. And the last 2 times Hakeem touched it, he caught and shot quickly rather than fool around with the basketball.
And a holding foul on Mason.
Well, Anthony trying to body Olajuwon across the lane, which he has been doing throughout the whole series, and has had a lot of success pushing Hakeem just a step or 2 further out. The referees are watching it very closely. They have a good idea. The Knicks want to come out and be as physical as possible.
Olajuwon sitting down. Mario Ellie, who had just come on, along with Carl Herrera, getting that shot off. And the foul on Herrera. Carl Herrera, you recall, had that excellent game in Houston. Opening game of the series, coming back from the dislocated shoulder. Only 1 for 8 from the field on Sunday. The Knicks have missed their last 5 shots. So they have gone cold after the quick start. Oakley played by Horry. Knicks are firing the ball at each other. Ewing. Rebound Anthony. Well, Greg Anthony getting inside.
Well, with the half-court offense of New York right now, everybody just standing around, getting pushed a little bit further out on the perimeter, not getting the movement and the good passing that they were getting early in this ballgame, and really not getting the ball in tight to Patrick Ewing.
Knicks have a 7-point lead. Horry got the step. Rebounded by Anthony. Patrick Ewing, 3 for 9, 6 points. And the Knicks with a 23-14 advantage. Ewing also has 8 rebounds. Fast start in that department. Ewing with the block. Shot clock at 4. Cassell. Oh, what a shot by Sam Cassell to bail out the Rockets on that sequence.
Well, he does such a good job of getting into the lane. Actually, Greg Anthony kind of warded him off, did not let him get in, made him take a tough shot. But Sam Cassell is much stronger than he looks.
And Cassell gets to the rebound. Rockets with the ball trailing by 7. And Cassell was bumped by Anthony. Anthony called for his first. Timeout has been taken.
Patrick Ewing had 7 blocks in game 3, just waiting on Carl Herrera. It seems like he's the guy he's picking on most, has a good feeling of when he's going to release the ball, and swats away.
9 minutes, 9 seconds to go. First half, Knicks lead by 7.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Tostitos brand restaurant-style tortilla chips, by MGM Blown Away, rated R, and by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
Back at Madison Square Garden, Sam Cassell has done the job again coming off the bench. He's hit 3 of 4 from the field, 7 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists for Cassell. We talked with him yesterday after practice and talked about the subject of apprehension, perhaps about the pressure of a rookie playing in the NBA Finals. Here's his response.
Well, I don't feel any pressure because my job is not that hard. I take the ball across half court with Doug Harper hanging all over me, just fighting him off. That's the hardest part, just fighting him off. Once I make the initial pass, you know, we have a guy on our team by the name of Hakeem Olajuwon. And if things break down, if I can get him the ball some kind of way, I know something's gonna happen, good or bad.
Bob, I believe him. He's said it so many times. He's starting to convince me that he doesn't feel this at all.
Well, he helped turn things around for the Rockets in the final minutes of the 4th quarter on Sunday night. And he's done the job here in the first half. Greg Anthony showing some signs. He had not been a factor at all in the series. It's been tough for him to get the playing time because both Harper and Starks have done well. Here's Cassell going right at Anthony with a driving hook. Herrera with a hustle rebound.
Well, both Charles Smith and Greg Anthony thought the other guy was going to get the ball. You can't do that. You got to go grab it.
Cassell rejected by Smith. Horry for 3, yes. Robert Horry, who has the stroke from downtown, hitting on his first field goal. Knicks now lead 25-19. 4 minutes gone by, second quarter. Anthony. Rockets do not mind seeing Greg Anthony taking the shots, even though he had a couple earlier.
A couple of Knicks that time seemed to mind. They would like to see the ball go inside, and then if there's a double team, throw it back out to Greg, either for the shot or for some penetration. They just don't want him to come down, dribble around, and take a quick shot.
Brown wanted to travel on Orange. Shot clock is down to 2. Here's Ellie. It's an air ball, 24. Second violation. Now Hakeem Olajuwon checking back in, and Matt Bullard, who played briefly in game number 1, has come on. Well, the Rockets, their 10th turnover on that 24-second violation. Charles Smith being played by Hakeem Olajuwon goes right at him. Strong move, but could not convert. Last touch by the Rockets.
Charles Smith has been aggressive in this first half, trying to take the ball to the basket. Really got excellent position on Hakeem Olajuwon, but looked like he heard some footsteps as he just squeezed that shot off the glass.
Harper, Oakley, and Smith on the floor, each playing with 2 fouls. Rockets only 2 of 10 from the field here in the second. Herrera off the fake. Sets up Bullard. And Smith rebound. Knicks by 6. The lead for Oakley. Gets it back out. Hoffer for 3. Derek Hoffer coming off strong performances in games 2 and 3. Perhaps his finest back-to-back work all season since coming over from the Dallas Mavericks. He's extended the Knicks lead to 28-19. And the chant of defense from the crowd. Ariel Ellie, he's been off. Mason unleashes for Anthony. Casella's back. Anthony trying to get it to Oakley. Off the steal, here comes Casella. And his shot was blocked. Oakley in the open floor chasing it down. Wild end-to-end basketball. Just under 6 minutes remaining first half. And the Knicks lead 28-19. And now Pat Riley calls for time. Well, once again with Anthony Mason on the floor, we're seeing quite a bit of the matchup of Anthony Mason, who goes 6'7" against Hakeem Olajuwon, who's about 7 feet. And the Knicks have been very effective with that matchup, although Hakeem has made it clear that he is tired of hearing that Anthony Mason is the Dream's worst nightmare. You get the idea, it has gotten to him. But Mason has done a good job in wearing Hakeem down, and there's some thought that perhaps that's the reason he's been fatigued come fourth quarter.
Well, I think reading between the lines, what Hakeem is really saying, if my teammates get me the ball in good position, it doesn't matter who is guarding me.
And I would think he's correct. That block by Olajuwon, his 3rd of the half. 3-second violation. And the ball goes back to New York.
Well, one of the best shot blockers in the league, certainly the best in the playoffs, as Hakeem Olajuwon took off very early and just extended that arm just a little bit more to get another one. He had 7 in game 3. An outstanding defensive player, especially off the ball. Not only can he play his own man, but always roaming around the lane looking to help a teammate. I guess that's why he was Defensive Player of the Year.
Hoffer. Derek Hoffer continuing the superb shooting. 3 of 5, 7 points. The Knicks 30, the Rockets 19. Kenny Smith back on the floor. Feeding Hakeem Olajuwon, now being played by Patrick Ewing, off to the side. Off the steal, Starks from Smith.
Terrific thread-the-needle pass by Charles Smith, and John Starks did an outstanding job of catching, getting feet together, and finishing the shot off as Hakeem Olajuwon holding the ball out, up for grabs as Charles Smith started to come in, but Ewing was the one who knocked it loose to Charles Smith. And then the quick, sharp pass and a terrific catch by John Starks.
Knicks have outscored the Rockets here in the second quarter, 13-5.
All right, coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, we'll be joined live by San Antonio Spurs center David Robinson. We'll talk with him about the Ewing-Olajuwon matchup and the situation in San Antonio, where the Spurs are looking for a coach to replace John Lucas. We'll also hear from the insiders, Walton, Bessie, and Dr. J on the first half between the Knicks and the Rockets. The Rockets having a whole lot of trouble scoring after spotting the Knicks' 17-2 lead. In fact, they could be headed for a dubious record. Let's let Marv explain that. Take it, Marv.
All right, Bob. Yes, the Houston Rockets with only 19 points in this first half, 4:47 remaining, are certainly in line. Houston back in 81 in the finals had a 30-point half. That is the record. Also, fewest points for both teams in a half in the NBA Finals, as Maxwell is able to get the roll. Fewest record for both teams in a half, 63 that in the Knicks Rocket second half of game 1 of this series. Knicks lead 32-21. 4:20 remaining in the first half. Smith off the fake. Ori did not go for it. Smith lost it off his foot. Oakley on the recovery. Ewing from way out with the shot clock running down. And Olajuwon rebound. Kenny Smith, Maxwell now in the backcourt. Hakeem Olajuwon, Robert Horry, Otis Thorpe on the front line. Maxwell for three. Vernon Maxwell hitting the three-pointer. He now has 7, and the Knicks lead 32-24.
It's amazing how much better jump shots look when there's good ball movement and sharp passing. Everybody seems to shoot the ball better because you are in much better rhythm.
Smith bothering Hopper. Here's Charles Smith. The Knicks swinging the ball effectively to find the open man.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. When Patrick Ewing goes inside, they will come down and double team. That will open up open shots, but Patrick is really drifting so much on the perimeter. Now, what that does sometimes is open up the lane and give driving opportunities, but Patrick has to go inside more. Here's some sharp passing by the Houston Rockets as the kick out to Vernon Maxwell, who on the previous possession took it hard to the glass, as it looks like he's starting to get it going, and I'm sure the Knicks are worried about that. He has not really exploded offensively yet in this series.
And the Knick foul was called on Patrick Ewing. His first. Horry for three. Yes, that's his second. And second consecutive. So the Knicks now lead 34-27. 3 minutes to go. First half. Marv Albert, Matt Dukas, Bob Costas, Ahmad Rashad, Hannah Storm, Madison Square Garden in New York. Charles Smith locating the outside cut. 8 points for Smith. The Knicks lead 36-27.
Either the passing's better or all of a sudden the rim got three big.
Olajuwon, yes, at both ends. That's 4 straight for the Rockets. They've hit their last 4 shots. Hakeem now has 8 points. And Hakeem Olajuwon and Patrick Ewing in a group of some of the great centers in the history of the NBA who have never won a title. Bob Lanier, 14 NBA seasons with Milwaukee and Detroit. And there's Bob, color commentator for NBA Radio, working along with Joe McConnell. Bob Lanier enjoying his one-on-one interview with the mayor of Houston, whose name happens to be Bob Lanier. The two got together last week and had a very intense session.
I know Bob enjoyed that. Everybody around the hotel in Houston calling him the mayor. He didn't know what it was all about at first until he found out that he and the mayor had the same name. There was a lot of talk about what Pat Riley was going to do about the guard rotation in this game. Some speculation that Rolando Blackman might play, but what he has done is shorten the rotation and has gone with 3 guards, Anthony Starks and Harper.
7-point Nick Lee. Here's Oakley. Yes. Charles Oakley has hit 3 of 3. The Knicks lead 38-29. We come up on 2 minutes remaining. First half. Maxwell working against Starks. Vernon Maxwell. Patrick Ewing with his 9th rebound. Oakley again getting the room. And the loose ball picked up by Charles Smith, taking it hard to the hoop, but again, not able to hit. He thought he was fouled. Harper with the steal. Olajuwon is back, so Harper pulls up for the 3. And Starks gets to it. Picked up on a switch by Hakeem. He's looking for the mismatch and then fires. Ewing not able to tip it.
Both teams taking terrible shots right now. Charles Oakley really upset with his teammates. He doesn't even feel like running back down to the defensive end. He's just about getting there and got there finally to not get that rebound.
Thorpe with a terrific job off the offensive boards. And Patrick Ewing is upset. And now Charles Oakley screaming at John Starks. Well, we have seen both teams go at each other on the court. It's a matchup of 2 very highly emotional ball clubs, players that publicly will go at each other right on the court in full view. We've seen the Rockets do it, and we've certainly seen the Knicks do it throughout the playoffs. But as you mentioned, Matt, Oakley was upset. That's a leg block called on Maxwell. Knicks get a new 24.
Well, Charles Oakley took a horrible shot before. This time, he had post-up position. He wanted the ball. He felt that John Starks took a bad shot, and he's barking at him right now. He's going to throw this inbound pass very hard at him. And a lot of tension out there, and it is starting to show.
The Knicks have missed their last 5 from the field. Ewing ends that streak. 8 points for Ewing. He is 4 for 12. The Knicks 40, Rockets 31. A game that began with the Knicks jumping in front 17-2. And the Rockets were able to come on. They ended the first quarter with a 12-2 run. Olajuwon. Hakeem is 5 for 9, shooting well, 10 points for Olajuwon. And the Knicks lead is 7. 20 seconds remaining, first half.
Well, a scoring barrage by the Rockets in these last 4 minutes, and a lot of it is because the New York defensive intensity has dropped dramatically. They're getting feet off the dribble, and consequently some dribble drives and kickouts for good shots.
Final seconds of the half starts. And with 0.8 of a second remaining, a foul called on the Rockets. It's called on Thorpe. However, it was a loose ball foul, and Oakley will throw in from side court. At halftime, Bob Costas, the Prudential halftime report, and he will be talking with David Robinson of the San Antonio Spurs. Time runs out in this first half, and should be some interesting topics to discuss with John Lucas departing, taking over the head job with the Philadelphia 76ers. Hakeem, 5 of 9, 10 points, only 2 rebounds. Ewing, 4 for 13, 8 points and 10 rebounds. So it's the Knicks 40 and the Rockets 33 halftime at Madison Square Garden. We'll be back with the Prudential halftime report after this.
This is the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
Knicks lead the Rockets, trying to draw even in the series, 40-33 at halftime. Bob Costas back with the insiders, Julius Erving, Peter Bessie, and Bill Walton. And if, while we're having our conversation, you hear a roar in the background, it is because Mark Messier of the Rangers is carrying the Stanley Cup out onto the Madison Square Garden court. Less than 24 hours ago, the ice covered this surface, and the Rangers skated to their first Stanley Cup in 54 years. And there's Messier holding it aloft as the curse of 1940 was erased. As we pointed out at the top of the telecast, no city has ever seen both its hockey team and its NBA entry win the title, the Stanley Cup and the NBA championship, in the same year. This is the 7th time that a city has seen teams in the Stanley Cup final and in the NBA final, but never have both won. The Knicks could draw even and make it a possibility if they win tonight. Now to Bill Walton for some analysis here. Houston is playing very poorly, and Ewing, in your estimation, playing well.
The Houston Rockets came out as if they were looking to win this series in the 7th game. That's a big mistake, because when you spend this much time on the road late in the season, it really wears you down. Ewing, though, for the Knicks, has found his rhythm. His game is on fire right now. He's changed his defensive strategy. He's fronting Hakeem Olajuwon, and they are not filling the high post. They're not building good triangles around him. And then also Ewing has gone to the low post, which I think they've been very reluctant to do, and a big mistake, Ewing overpowering Olajuwon down low.
Well, Ewing may be doing a good job on the boards and defensively, but the shooting touch isn't there. 4 for 14, and he still hasn't gotten to the line.
That's right. First of all, I can't believe Messier's not in front of a television set trying to figure out what we're saying here. Second of all, if I were the Knicks, I'd be real upset about what's going on here. They're only up 7. Hakeem has expended no energy in this first half. He's got 10 points. I mean, he's had 2 days to take off and relax. I think he's going to have a lot of energy for that second half.
Houston has played poorly, and they've shot only 36%, but they're this close, down by 7, because they have 4 three-pointers, and the Knicks have shot 1 of 7 from behind the line. How about some of the new things the Knicks seem to have put in for this game, Doc?
Well, there are a few new things that have happened. The Knickerbockers came out expecting to ride the wave of emotion that's produced by this crowd, knowing that it's a 4th game and it's a must game for them. They've elected to try and push the ball after they create a turnover defensively. This is something that they haven't been doing in the other games in this series. trying to be the aggressive offensively, and they haven't really used Patrick Ewing as their first option. Their early success was created by using him as a screener. He freed up Charles Smith a couple of times. He freed up John Starks so they could catch the ball in the lane and do something with it, and they used him as a second or a third option. So I wouldn't be so concerned about his shooting because he hasn't been a first option in the first half. I'm sure he will be in the second half.
So the Knicks bolted to a 17-2 lead at the outset, settle now for a 40-33 advantage at the half. One piece of NBA news today off the court: the recent sale of the Minnesota Timberwolves to a group in New Orleans has been unanimously rejected by the NBA's relocation committee. NBA Commissioner David Stern discussed it before tonight's game.
That committee has unanimously recommended that the Board of Governors disapprove the application to sell the Minnesota Timberwolves to Top Rank of Louisiana. We're in the process of scheduling a board meeting, a Board of Governors meeting, at which the recommendation of the committee will be acted upon.
The Timberwolves, a team that's enjoyed tremendous fan support from the outset, but they have financial problems. Their ownership does, especially with the financing of the arena. New Orleans group came along with a huge offer, but the NBA would like the stability of finding a buyer in Minnesota to keep the franchise there. Stern also said that the pressure of making a schedule precludes a move to New Orleans for the 94-95 season. Additionally, the league has filed a lawsuit to reaffirm its right to control its franchises. When we come back, we're joined live by David Robinson. That's after a message from Prudential and a word from the NBA. Knicks lead the Rockets at the half 40-33. Our time is short, so let's get right to it. David Robinson standing by from San Antonio. David, who better than you to analyze the battle in the middle between Hakeem Olajuwon and Patrick Ewing? What do you think?
Well, it's a tough matchup. Both of the guys are facing pretty good, tough defenses. The guards are collapsing. They're not going to really be able to get a lot of great shots. It's really going to come down to the last 5 minutes. I think whoever steps up is going to be big. Both of them are capable of doing it.
Playing in the Western Conference, you see more of Olajuwon, but give us an idea of how you approach playing Olajuwon as opposed to playing Ewing.
Well, with Hakeem, I expect him to be real active defensively. I expect him to be active all over the floor. He's going to be more of a force. I think I get up for him more just because I see him more. It's a rival right in the conference. But Patrick's great. Offensively, I think when I go play him, I've got to keep him away from the basket and make him take tough shots. But I just think about Hakeem more because we're in the same conference.
We all saw you on the Tonight Show last week, and it was the same day that John Lucas had announced his resignation, and now, of course, he's become the coach and GM of the 76ers. It was very clear as you spoke with Jay Leno that you were both surprised and very disappointed in Lucas leaving. How do you feel now? Have you had a chance to talk to John Lucas? How do you think this will affect your team?
Well, Luke and I haven't really gotten a chance to sit down and talk. I think he's been pretty busy running all over the country, getting his own personal things taken care of. But I guess this is what he wanted to do. I never had talked to him about this whole situation. It was a total surprise to me that he had ever even considered leaving. He was great for this franchise, and I think we're all going to miss him and be disappointed. But I'm sure he'll be great in Philly. He'll get those guys to get in shape and get ready to play just like he did for us. And we'll have to start all over again.
You had previously said he was clearly your favorite coach to play for, and he brought a lot of things out in you which other coaches had been unable to tap. Instability has been pretty much the order of the day since you arrived in San Antonio. This will be, whomever it is, the 5th or 6th coach you've played for in about a half dozen years in the league, and I know that has to bother you.
Yeah, it's been tough. Not just coaches, but players. We've been through a lot of players, and I thought the team that we had here my rookie year was a real strong team, and I think if we'd have kept the nucleus of that together, we'd have been okay. But unfortunately, we weren't able to do that, and we have made changes every year. Seems like every time you start going a little bit forward, we take a few steps back, and hopefully from here on out, we'll really be able to build something here.
When we talked during the regular season, you really credited Dennis Rodman with complementing your game and providing a presence on that front line. Toward the end of the season, though, he went off the spool a little bit, and he got suspended in the series against Utah, and it might have cost you the series against the Jazz. What do you think Dennis's future is with your ball club?
Well, I think that's pretty much up to Dennis. He's the guy you got to talk to find out how he's going to be. But he's a great player. I love having him on the floor. I love his crazy antics. You know, that's a part of him. If you know him, he's an emotional type of a player, and that's what I think we all need from him. You know, I thought a lot of times he just got a bad deal from the NBA. You know, they know his past, they know the bad boy reputation, and they played on that reputation all year long. I don't think Dennis did a lot of things to attract as much attention as he got this year. But that was unfortunate, and I think that, you know, hopefully next year, you know, he'll come back, he'll be the same emotional type of a player, and we'll get the same great effort.
David, I think I speak for all basketball fans when I say it would be nice at some point in your career to see you in this setting at the NBA Finals. You deserve it. Let's hope it happens at some time.
Oh, I hope so. Like I said, I mean, it takes some time. Both those teams have been together for a while, and they deserve to be there.
David, good to talk with you.
Thank you.
Okay, David Robinson of the San Antonio Spurs. The Knicks lead the Rockets by 7, and we'll send things back to Marv and Matt right after these messages from your local station. Second half coming up.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden in New York. Marv Albert with Matt Gukas. And as we head to the third quarter, the Knicks with a 40-33 lead on the Rockets. This after that terrific start by the Knicks. They're up 17-2, but the Rockets able to get back into it in the second quarter.
Well, so intent on getting off to that good start, they may have punched themselves out, ran out of a little bit of gas, but in the last 4 minutes, the Rockets did a much better job spreading the floor, moving the basketball, getting better shots.
All right, a look at the halftime statistics, the Miller Genuine Draft halftime stats. Rockets 14 of 39, 36% shooting. The Knicks 19 of 46, 41% from the field. Good first half for Akeem Olajuwon, 5 of 9 for 10 points. And once again, the Knicks not getting to the foul line. We touched on that at the start. Rockets also not getting to the line, 1 for 1 at the free throw line. And a concern of the Knicks, the fact that Patrick Ewing has not been getting to the line. Of the same story here today.
Well, so many jump shots and not enough post-up, not enough drives to the basket.
All right, Hannah Storm is alongside Houston coach Rudy Tomjanovich. Let's go to Hannah.
Thanks, Marv. Coach, you prepared your team for this kind of game. You talked about how intense the Knicks would be.
Come out very intense, but believe it or not, I'm pretty happy at where we're at because we were ugly. And we couldn't execute, we couldn't shoot the ball, and we've worked with a lot of heart and pretty good defense on our part to just be at 7 points down at the half.
You are certainly within striking distance at halftime, and you scored 14 points over the last 4 minutes of the half. How did you get the offense going, and how do you need to make up the deficit in the second half? What do you need to do?
Well, instead of trying to pound the ball inside, we got into a different offensive set, and it loosened them up a little bit. But Pat's going to come back with an adjustment, and we got to be ready for that.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Marv, the emotional leader of this team, Vernon Maxwell, told his teammates, let's make them match our intensity in the second half. Marv?
All right, Hannah, Knicks by 7 as we head to the second half. We'll be back in a moment.
Ahmad Rashad back at Madison Square Garden. Now, during the halftime, Pat Riley talking to his team about better shot selection. Also, take more time and execute. Another thing, he wants his team to communicate a little bit better on defense and also push the ball up. He thought they were doing it in the first quarter. They got away from it in the second quarter. He wants them to do a little bit more of that. Marv?
All right, Ahmad, the crowd trying to get the Knicks going at the start of this third quarter. The only player in double figures, Akeem Olajuwon with 10 points. The Knicks led by Patrick Ewing and Charles Smith, 8 apiece. And Ewing with 14 field goal attempts, 4 of 14 in the first half.
And the Knicks did have 10 offensive rebounds, which is a lot in the half, but they only turned it into 4 points.
Olajuwon picked up on the switch by Oakley as Ewing came out to double. Kenny Smith, Vernon Maxwell on the backboard. Akeem Olajuwon with Otis Thorpe. Robert Horry up front. Shot clock at 4. Horry. And the rebound handled by Ewing. John Starks gets it down to Charles Smith. And again, not able to finish. Ewing kept it alive. Patrick Ewing controlling the board. And the Knicks now lead 42-33.
But Pat Riley has to be happy, even though Charles Smith did not make that shot. The fact that he challenged Olajuwon, made him try to block it, and it enabled the Knicks to get 2 or 3 more cracks at it.
Now Charles Smith guarding Akeem Olajuwon. Here's Kenny Smith. Oh! And it's tipped home. Otis Thorpe with a second field goal. He has 4. The Knicks lead is now 7. Smith feeling around for Thorpe. Olajuwon with the rebound. Here's Thorpe. Met by Oakley. Maxwell. Oh, look out. Offensive foul as Horry collided with Starks trying to set the pick. And Horry is called for his first.
Well, Robert Horry just stands up very tall, and John Starks does a terrific acting job. We've seen him do it many times this year as he initiated the hard contact and took the hard fall to the floor. A little smile on his face that he knew he got away with one.
Oakley for Smith for 3. Just did get a piece of the net. And Charles Smith, who has heard it from the crowd on many an occasion here, is hearing it right now.
He's certainly making the effort, taking the ball to the basket. That time, I think he rushed that shot a little bit and not drawing iron again. He got the looks from his teammates, and as you're right, Mark, the crowd is always watching him very closely because even though he makes these moves to the basket, he cannot finish them.
Thorpe charged with his second foul. Opened up the game with a 17-2 run. Looked to be a sparked-up team. But in the second quarter, Houston hit its last 6 of 8, including 2 from downtown. Joe Crawford over at the scorer's table. And now conferring with Hugh Evans. The Knicks missed 7 of the last 8 shots in the second quarter. Now apparently they are changing a call that was some 2 fouls back. Well, we said it was Horry, but apparently it was announced as Olajuwon, so that's what the discussion was about. But it was Horry on that offensive foul involved with Starks. That was the reason for the discussion. Ewing lost it.
Well, Patrick Ewing setting up nicely this time right along the edge of the lane, and as he tried to make the move, he had Olajuwon's hands in there, and Maxwell came in from behind to knock it off Patrick Ewing. But Patrick has to go in there and try to draw some double teams to get better shots for his teammates.
Neither club able to get going here at the start of the third quarter. 2 minutes, 15 seconds gone by. Thorpe on the rebound. Let's see, will it count? No, 24-second violation.
Rudy not happy with that call, but a good one by the trail official, Joe Crawford, as the ball hit the glass, did not touch the rim, and it has to do it as Otis Thorpe had the inside position. But tough, aggressive defense by New York, keeping the Rockets from getting into any kind of offense.
And a loose ball foul against the Knicks. It's called on Ewing, his second.
This coming right off the glass. See if that ball is out of the hands of Otis Thorpe. Very, very close. But Joe Crawford very definitive with his call. He heard the buzzer, and that's what he has to go by.
What a move by Otis Thorpe, feeling the contact, but able to hit, and the Knicks lead is now 5. The Knicks 42, the Rockets 37. 3 minutes in, third quarter. Game 4, the best of 7. Rockets with a 2-1 lead. Oakley gets inside. 9 points for Oakley, and the Knicks are up 44-37.
Well, this is what Charles Oakley does so well when Patrick Ewing is either in a deep post or mid-post position from the weak side. Charles ducks in there, and Ewing found him nicely with the pass.
comes out for the double team. Then able to hustle back. Maxwell for three. Yes. Vernon Maxwell picking up the shooting. 10 points for Maxwell. And the Knicks lead is only 4. The Knicks have led by as many as 15. That was right at the start with that 17-2 spurt. Charles Smith with a strong move. 10 points for Smith. The Knicks 46, the Rockets 40. And of defense, Maxwell tried to split through and was tripped up. Alan Starks. For John Starks, it is his first foul.
Pat Riley shouting out instructions to John Starks. They want to make sure, the Knicks do, that is, that Vernon Maxwell does not go off on one of these streaks. They kind of are holding their breath with him. He can go off and score a lot. So on these pick and rolls, they normally want to trap him hard.
Maxwell only 5 of 15 the other night in Game 3. Olajuwon, and the ball will go back to the Knicks.
As Vernon Maxwell trying to get into position, Charles Oakley taking that little extra opportunity to give him the little bump to possibly slow him down later in the ballgame.
Hopper met by Smith. Ewing with the screen. Hopper shooting. And the foul is called as Olajuwon got involved with Oakley. Horry called for the foul. Horry and Olajuwon all over Charles Oakley. So that's the second committed by Horry. Here's Charles Smith. Good box out by Hakeem Olajuwon. Rockets with the ball. They are down by 6. Fourth. Gets inside, it counts, and the foul. The crowd moaning because they felt there should have been a traveling violation called.
Otis Thorpe trying to gather himself in there and goes off the right foot. Not a walking call. It should not have been a walking call, as he's going to play a little hop step there. Maybe that's what the crowd was reacting to, but most of the NBA players get away with that. But he planted that left foot, took off, and as he was hacked on the play, able to finish because he's got big, strong hands.
Rare turn at the foul line. Thorpe coming up short, not able to complete the three-point play. The Knicks lead 46-42. Otis Thorpe has been solid right throughout this series. Here's Ewing. Setting up Harper for three. Second from downtown. The Knicks 49, the Rockets 42. Olajuwon with a good position, then changed his mind. Horry, yes. 9 points for Horry. The Knicks lead is 5.
And we've seen the centers on 2 successive plays put the ball on the floor, start to make their offensive move, and then make a nice pass for an assist and a basket for their team. Not many big men can do that.
Well, the shovel pass from Starks, picked off by Maxwell. Vernon Maxwell able to finish it off, and the Knicks lead is now 49-46. Halfway through the third quarter, and the Knicks want to talk it over. Pat Riley requesting for timeout. 6 minutes, 7 seconds to go in this third quarter. It's the Knicks 49, the Rockets 46.
Well, John Starks kind of telegraphing that pass, so Olajuwon knocks it loose, and as Oakley challenges Vernon Maxwell, can't do anything about it.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Pepsi, who reminds you to be young, have fun, drink Pepsi. By True Lies, the new action-adventure starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, starts Friday, July 15th. And by Nissan, it's time to expect more from a car.
The Houston Rockets have hit 5 of the last 6 shots, and they have moved within 3 points with 6 minutes and 7 seconds to go in this third quarter. Prior to Sunday night, the Rockets had won only 2 games here at Madison Square Garden since 1986. They played only 1 game per season, but still it's been a long stretch, and the Knicks had had the same type of problems at the Summit in Houston able to break through with the victory in Game 2 on Friday night. Crowd trying to rev up the Knicks. Following the timeout, receiving a standing ovation. Here's Ewing. Rebounded by Olajuwon. Patrick Ewing is 5 for 17. To this point, it's been the same type of game that he had in Game 3. Olajuwon, yes, Hakeem Olajuwon with 12 points, and the Rockets are within 1.
And had a story telling us during that last timeout, Rudy Tomjanovich wants either Thorpe or Olajuwon to post up in transition. The first big man down to see if they can't get some quick scores there.
Starks got the step, heading for the foul. Starks going down and upset. Like he hurt his hip. Trying to walk it off.
Well, John Starks getting that high pick from Charles Oakley to send him towards the basket, as John senses that the Knicks need some of that penetration, either the score or draw a defender and kick off, as he went in there hard and collides with Horry. But Maxwell went into the Oakley pick even harder, as he has had some hand problems throughout all of these playoffs.
Olajuwon called for the foul, his second. And the Knicks, their first free throws since the opening minute of the game. They were at the line at a minute 3 of the first quarter. That has been it. Charles Oakley 1 for 2 from the line, and now John Starks with 2 opportunities.
And you can see Vernon Maxwell really suffering with that hand as he banged into Charles Oakley. It has not been a problem for much of the beginning of this series, but hurting him particularly in the Phoenix and Utah series.
As Vernon has played through the pain of injuries to both hands, plus a bruised right ankle, he has been hanging in right through the playoffs. The Knicks lead 50-48. Kenny Smith, rebounded by Charles Oakley, comes stumbling to midcourt. And Mason pushed by Thorpe. Let's go to Hannah Storm.
Marv, just another note on Vernon Maxwell. That left thumb has been bothering him all season. It's been extremely sore. He has chosen not to wrap it for this series, but he did jam it out there. So it is causing him some pain. They did put some freezing spray on it, and apparently it feels better. Marv?
Thank you, Hannah. Make it 5 of 18 for Patrick Ewing. Last season, Vernon Maxwell fractured his left wrist at the end of the regular season. Olajuwon with the spinning jump. Oh, what a move by Hakeem Olajuwon, and he has tied the game at 50.
All set up on the penetration by Otis Thorpe as he blew by Charles Oakley, and all the defense reacted to him and enabled him to get the ball to Olajuwon.
Offers pass off the mark. Starks good control. Now lets it go in the backcourt, and as he touches it, we get the whistle for a backcourt violation.
Well, Patrick Ewing goes over to help out here on Otis Thorpe, and Otis able to hang in the air and watch this spinning, whirling dervish move by Hakeem Olajuwon, who has all of those kinds of moves, and of course a terrific touch to finish off on those 15-foot jump shots.
Hakeem is 7 of 12, 14 points. He has had an outstanding night. Here's Horry. Oh, look out. Oh, he went down hard. Slamming to the floor.
Let's go, let's go. Come on.
And good to see that he is able to get up, and apparently is okay. Assistant coach Larry Smith out to check him out.
A little give and go to Robert Horry as Anthony Mason comes over to try to block that shot, and the feet go out from under Robert Horry here, as he goes hard right on the backside and in the lower back area, and he bounced hard, but fortunate for Robert Horry and the Houston Rockets, appears to be okay.
And a flagrant foul was called on Anthony Mason, so Horry to the line for the 2, and then possession goes to the Rockets, who have a chance to take the lead for the first time. Looking at that spill by Robert Horry, the same thing happened going for a loose ball in Game 5 of the series against Utah.
Anthony Mason very unhappy with the flagrant foul call. He felt he made a legitimate effort to try to block that shot. Instead, the officials ruled that it was an unnecessary contact type of play. And I think it was more of a reaction to the way that Robert Horry fell, kind of out of control and hitting the floor so hard.
Rockets have outscored the Knicks 18-10 here in the third quarter. Chant of "Let's go Knicks." Rockets now lead by 1 as we come up on 4 minutes to go in the third. Illegal defense called against the Knicks. That is their second infraction and a technical foul awarded to the Rockets. Robert Horry still hobbling, walking it off at center court. There's Horry flexing, telling Rudy Tomjanovich that he is all right. Sam Cassell hitting the technical, and the Rockets lead by 2. Now let's go to Hannah Storm. Hannah?
Well, Marv, at first it didn't seem that the injury to Robert Horry was that serious, but remember, he did bruise that right hip in the final game of the Western Conference Final, and now it appears as if he may have aggravated that injury, Marv.
4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Rockets by 2. Horry for 3. Mason with the rebound. The Knicks with Hopper and Starks in the backcourt. Ewing, Mason, Oakley up front. Hopper tries the 3. Houston in the midst of a 10-1 run. Olajuwon off the double team. Yes. Hakeem Olajuwon has been unstoppable. Does not have the big numbers. He's taken good shots. And Horry now comes hobbling off as he gave the foul and now is headed to the bench. 12-1 run by the Rockets. And Matt Bullard will come on for Robert Horry.
Well, Robert Horry looks like he's having a spasm problem right now as he took that foul intentionally to stop the clock, as he has really been hobbling ever since he took those flagrant foul free throws.
Hopper for 3. And it's rebounded by Olajuwon.
Well, perimeter jump shot after perimeter jump shot. Derek Harper has taken the last 2. That last one was not a bad shot because it was 2 passes out of a double team, but the one before just coming down and shooting, not good.
Timeout called. 3:01 left in the third. Moment ago, Robert Horry on the drive, fouled by Anthony Mason, was called a flagrant foul. Horry landing hard, was able to hang in for a while and then headed back to the locker room. Out, as you guessed, they have suffered a spasm. The Rockets have been relatively injury-free this season, in contrast to the Knicks. Doc Rivers leading the way in that department. Went down with a knee back in December. There is Doc, who incidentally made the all-interview team once again.
Quite an accomplishment. I think Charles Barkley made it once again.
Yes. Here's Olajuwon. And the Rockets now lead 56-50. Hakeem with 18 points.
And he looks very comfortable. The last 3 times he has touched the ball, it looks like there is no defense around him.
Olajuwon with the steal. The Rockets have taken the play away from the Knicks with a 14-1 run here in the third. The Knicks shooting only 4 of 16 from the floor in the third quarter. Cassell. And it's an offensive foul. Extended the arm as he made his move. All right, let's go to Hannah for more on Robert Horry.
Well, Marv, Robert Horry did not re-aggravate that bruised right hip that he injured in the Western Conference Final against Utah. Actually, what he did in that play is he fell on his right backside, and now he is suffering from back spasms. They're treating him right now in the trainer's room with some ice, trying to stretch out his back, and they do believe that he'll be able to come back and play in this game. Marv?
All right, had a nice move by John Starks. Well, Dr. Gukas was right on. Calling the back spasm as he saw it.
Challenging Mike Saunders for Trainer of the Year.
Right. Rockets by 4. Just under 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Maxwell. Rebounded by Oakley, who pitches down to Starks. Maxwell is back. Starks for the duck under move. So John Starks with a couple of buckets to bring the Knicks within 2. Oakley. Here comes Starks. Hopper for three. Yes. The Knicks, in the midst of a spurt, have taken a 1-point lead, 7 unanswered, with just under 1 minute left in the third, and the foul on Hopper for bumping Cassell.
Well, John Starks and Patrick Ewing running screen roll. John always looking to get into the lane if he can. If he gets shut off, he'll throw the ball to Ewing back on the right baseline. This time, able to get all the way to the basket. And John Starks looking for every opportunity to release on a Houston jump shot. Takes off, and Oakley finds him, and John Starks does the rest.
Alan Hopper, his third. Knicks over the limit. Rockets with 14 fouls. Sam Cassell from the line. He's 1 for 1 from the line. Sam Cassell, first-round draft pick of the Rockets out of Florida State. 9 points off the bench for Cassell. Here's Carl Herrera checking back in. That performance the other night among the top by a rookie in the last 25 years in the NBA. The list headed by Irvin Magic Johnson, 42 points back in 1980 in a Laker victory in the NBA Finals. And there is the Magic Man here at courtside.
Horry is coming back to the bench, suffering from those back spasms. Before Olajuwon went to the bench, he was having a little discussion with Maxwell at midcourt, saying, the last few times you came to me with the ball, I've been getting easy shots. Why have we gone away from that?
Houston by 1 point. Patrick Ewing getting a rest sitting down. Has not shot well once again. Only 5 of 18, but does have 13 rebounds, 3 personal fouls. Hopper for 3. That's his 4th three-pointer. Knicks lead 60-58. Cassell, Mason, and Oakley attempting to save it.
A little flurry by the Knicks at the close of the third quarter. All started by John Starks, and now the second three-pointer in a row from Derek Harper, who earlier in the quarter was just throwing them up at inopportune times. This time coming out of what it looks like a kind of a rhythmical offensive play, and looks much better when he shoots them.
Rhythmical offensive play. Knicks have hit 4 straight shots after missing 4 in a row. Derek Harper 4 of 8 from downtown tonight. Rockets running the clock down. 10 seconds to go in the third. Matt Bullard for 3. Yes! Matt Bullard off the bench to hit from downtown, and the Rockets lead by 1. Starks trying to beat the clock. Starks looking to get it off. He does. After 3 quarters, the Houston Rockets 61 and the New York Knicks 60.
Sam Cassell pounding it down, trying to get the last shot, and the Knicks are so conscious of Cassell's penetration to the lane. All the defense sagged in there. The little kick out to Matt Buller, and that's exactly what Rudy Tomjanovich wanted.
We'll be back after this from your local station.
Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
Hakeem Olajuwon has had an excellent ball game. 9 of 14. He's taken good shots, 18 points in all. However, in 4th quarters in this series, it has been a different story over the first 3 quarters. Games 1 through 3, 50% shooting, but 2 of 11 in 4th quarter play. Only 18% from the field. As Hakeem has pointed out, he's not only out there for offense, but still the Rockets would like to see him contribute more in the 4th quarter. Hakeem on the bench as this 4th quarter gets underway, and a foul is called. Thorpe getting involved down low with Smith, and that is number 4 on Thorpe.
And we talk about Hakeem being the most valuable player in the league. Obviously the most valuable player for Houston. In their 68 possessions, the ball has touched his hands 34 times. So they like to start it with him going inside, and if he can't get it, go to the outside.
Mason off a nice pass The basket counts and the foul on Bullard.
And Otis Thorpe furious with his teammates there for taking their eye. No reason to double team, he's saying. There's no reason why Carl Herrera should come over and double team Charles Smith, and that enables Anthony Mason to get wide open underneath. Once again, the nice pass by Charles Smith, who's, I'm sure, not used to getting double teamed.
Correction, that foul on Cassell. And Mason to the line for the first time, looking for his third point. Unusual high-scoring third quarter. Anthony Mason throwing a brick. Rockets with 28 points in the third after they scored only 33 in the entire first half. Hakeem Olajuwon back on the floor. Off the head fake, hits. Hakeem Olajuwon getting right to it here at the start of the fourth, and the Rockets lead by 1. Now Mason, played by Olajuwon, goes with a jump hook. Not a good percentage shot, challenging the 7-footer Olajuwon.
And Mason looked over to referee Hubert Evans asking for a foul there. He's not going to get that as he tried that little right-hand hook. He's had some success in the series, not that time.
Patrick Ewing getting set to return. Ellie, Sam Cassell, that's a three-point attempt, rebounded by Charles Oakley. Picks up Hopper and Starks in the backcourt. Oakley on front with Mason and Smith. They double up on Smith. Oakley open. And Olajuwon comes away with it.
Once again, the Houston Rockets double-teaming Charles Smith and leave another open shot, and I'm sure that is not in Rudy Tomjanovich's game plan, but right now the Rockets are just trying to be aggressive defensively, but they have to use their heads.
Herrera is fouled by Smith. Herrera got the step, and he will go to the line. That's 3 on Charles Smith.
Well, Marv, you mentioned head fake. Which one? There was about 5 there as he looked right into the eyes of Anthony Mason, the guy that has been credited with doing such a good job on him. And I think Olajuwon would like to prove a point to Anthony Mason every opportunity that he gets.
Paul Herrera has made it back from a dislocated right shoulder. 71% free throw shooter. Mathis with the indication of a lane violation. Anthony Mason stepping in too quickly.
Well, keep an eye on the right side of your screen. And actually, it looked like Mason stepped in after, actually with his foot touching the floor after that ball was released.
Well, Herrera gets the do-over. 2 more for Herrera.
And he takes advantage of it right there. Mike Mathis keeping a sharp eye on a lot of things that Anthony Mason has done tonight. He called that walk earlier on him in the first half. However, I don't think he was the official that called the flagrant foul. I think that was Joey Crawford.
Rockets 65 and the Knicks 62. This is a game that saw the Knicks open up with a 17-2 lead. Houston able to battle back, turned it around in the second quarter, came on in the third. Herrera called for that foul, his second.
Smart call here by Pat Riley to try to get Anthony Mason posted up against Carl Herrera. Some calls have been going against Anthony. He's a little mad now. See if he can't get something going.
Derek Hopper with yet another three-pointer. He's 5 for 9 from downtown. And for the series, he has hit 14 of 26 from three-point range. Phenomenal shooting. Game is tied at 65. Herrera. Rebounded by Ewing. Once again, Rudy Tomjanovich staying with the rookie Sam Cassell rather than the veteran Kenny Smith. Cassell up on Hopper. Hopper got the step. Here's Ewing. Rebound Cassell. Ewing is now 5 for 19. Olajuwon with the head fake. What a move by Hakeem Olajuwon.
He's feeling it in the low post now. Every time he gets it, he's thinking score. That was a lightning quick spin move.
Rockets lead by 2. 3 minutes gone by in the fourth. Ewing kept the dribble alive. Ewing on the return. Yes. Game is tied at 67. Only 12 points for Patrick Ewing. Ellie played by Starks. Bullard with 4 on the shot clock. Tied up by Smith. Down to 1. 24-second violation. And a timeout called by the Rockets.
Watch this quick catch and spin. There's nothing Patrick Ewing can do there except push, and he got away with no foul called there. As unbelievably quick spin move by Olajuwon, and able to gather himself and finish the shot.
Miller Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
Well, tonight's Miller Moment goes back to Game 4, last year's NBA Finals. Suns and Bulls. Michael Jordan erupting for 55 points, second most points scored in a Finals. That record held by Elgin Baylor. April the 14th, 1962. This is vintage footage in Boston. Baylor with 61 points for the Lakers in a 126-121 Game 5 victory. Here are the top 5 all-time NBA Finals point performances in a single game. Elgin with the 61. Michael Jordan, Rick Barry, each at 55. Jerry West, a 53-point game in 69. And Bob Pettit of the St. Louis Hawks hit for 50 back in 1958. In recognition of this moment, Miller Genuine Draft donates $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. Marv Albert, Matt Dukas, Bob Costas, Ahmad Rashad, Anna Storm from Madison Square Garden. Patrick Ewing hit from behind, and the foul called on Olajuwon.
Well, Patrick Ewing catching in the mid-post area. No double team coming for one of the rare times, so he tries to make the move on Olajuwon, and he stuck his leg and arm in there and hacked him. Neither center has shot a free throw in this ballgame. Patrick Ewing shot none in the last game.
3 fouls apiece on Ewing and Olajuwon. Oakley on the follow, rejected by Ori, who is back on the floor. Game tied at 67. Olajuwon from Ori. And the Rockets take a 69-67 lead.
And the Knicks hesitated in transition defense. They felt it was a goaltending, and they all looked around at the officials. The Rockets ran the other way.
Joe Crawford with the whistle. Oakley and Ori having some words.
Robert Ori back on the floor, still a little bit gimpy. He had some, as he gets the throw ahead from Sam Cassell, but has his head up and sees Olajuwon flying in on the right side, lays it out there for him very nicely. As the Knicks very slow getting back on defense, and Olajuwon readjusts in midair.
And a foul called on Ori, who is headed to the bench, and as you can see, he is hobbling to the Houston bench. That's 4 fouls on Ori, and very quickly the Rockets have gone over the limit. Ray Melchiori checking out Robert Ori. And once again, neither club spending much time at the line. Looks like Ori is headed back to the locker room. 11 points for Oakley, and the game is tied 69. Different story to this point for Hakeem Olajuwon in the fourth quarter. He has hit 3 of 3. The foul against the Knicks. Starks called for his second.
The Rockets spreading the floor here, looking to post up Vernon Maxwell, and Starks want none of that. Pushed him way out.
Starks guarding Ellie. Pick and roll with Fort. He's Bullard. He's 1 and 2 by Oakley. For Oakley, his third. And Bullard will go to the line. So the Knicks and the Rockets tied at 69. Another close ball game, not since 1979, as each game in the finals been decided by 10 points or less. Rockets won the first by 7. Knicks won game 2 Friday night in Houston by 8 points. Game 3 here Sunday night. Rockets with a 4-point victory. Houston by 1. 7:20 to go in the fourth quarter. Here's Ewing. Olajuwon got a piece of it. Oakley on the follow. Knicks by 1. Shot clock at 7. As Olajuwon starts his move, we get the whistle away from the ball. And a foul, or perhaps a double foul being indicated again. It is a double foul being called by Joe Crawford.
Away from the ball as Olajuwon was isolated on the right side, and Thorpe trying to cut through, who had been pressured just before that by Oakley, and they bang into each other. The double foul.
We have seen a number of double fouls called in the playoffs.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold. By Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth. And by Acura, some things are worth the price.
6:53 to go, fourth quarter. The Knicks now lead at 71-70 over the Rockets. Look at Hubert Davis, second-year man from North Carolina, has not played at all here this evening. Davis has had trouble getting into the flow, only 1 for 7 in the series. There was some speculation on the part of the media, at least, that perhaps Pat Riley would go with the veteran Rolando Blackman, who's yet to play in this series. Rose ready to go, said the story in the New York Post, but Pat Riley to this point has not used either player tonight.
Well, when you remember Pat Riley with the Lakers, he always shortened up that rotation. Of course, he had very versatile guards in Michael Cooper and Magic Johnson, but it was just Scott, Cooper, and Johnson.
Rolando Blackman has played only 34 minutes in the entire playoffs. Herrera had it knocked away. It will be Houston ball with 10 on the 24. Let's get back to Hannah.
Well, Mark, here's the final word on the night for Robert Horry. He is done. It seems that back just kept tightening up when he was out there. And actually, the team doctors are going to x-ray his tailbone. They fear that there might be a break there. Mark?
Thank you, Hannah. Olajuwon rebounded by Ewing. Robert Horry hit the floor hard. The result of that flagrant foul on Anthony Mason, and it's not been the same since. So Horry is through for the game. Ewing rejected by Olajuwon. Oakley gives it up. Hopper for 3. And a foul. Stay right here, says Hugh Evans. Foul against the Rockets on Matt Bullard.
Well, the Knicks have been going to screen roll, and they're getting Ewing on the roll, and he is challenging Olajuwon, taking the ball to the basket, but Olajuwon is meeting that challenge and knocking it out of there. But that is still good for the Knicks because they get a second chance. But Olajuwon is so good in there at timing his leap, and normally a great shot blocker blocks other people's shot. He's able to get his own guy.
Charles Oakley, 3 of 4 from the line. Oakley with 13 points, 17 rebounds. But how about Patrick Ewing? Again, it has been a jump shooting exhibition. He's only 3 for his last 14, 6 of 23. This, the type of game that he had against the Rockets during the course of the regular season.
But the last few times, Marty, he's taking the ball to the basket. He just can't draw a foul against a great defensive player like Olajuwon. In fact, he's getting his shot knocked out of there.
Olajuwon with 5 blocks tonight. He had 7, as did Ewing in game 3. The Knicks lead by 2 with just under 6 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Olajuwon stripped, then able to recover. Olajuwon, yes. Hakeem Olajuwon facing double and triple teaming. Now has 26 points, and he has certainly done it here in the fourth quarter. 8 of his 26 in the fourth, and the game is tied at 72. Here's Ewing. Nice change Patrick Ewing had to adjust that shot.
A little bit of a double clutch, and this time instead of going all the way to the rim, pulled up and just inside the dotted line, figured I better stop going in there. He keeps sending it out. Nice adjustment by Patrick Ewing.
And the Knicks with a 2-point lead. Hopper called for the foul. That is his fourth.
Well, Patrick Ewing was fronting Olajuwon here. John Starks came over for the steal, but somehow or other, Olajuwon able to avoid the defense to get that little shot, and Patrick Ewing with a little double clutch and a little touch shot from about 8 feet.
Now Cassell and Maxwell in the backcourt. Herrera, Olajuwon, Bullard up front. Ewing breaks it up. Starks able to come up with it, fouled by Herrera. Rockets are over the foul limit. The next foul will put the Knicks in that situation.
Patrick Ewing bodying and fronting Olajuwon. This time better pressure out on the perimeter to prevent that pass in there. And as Herrera breaks down Charles Oakley, Ewing gives up his position against Olajuwon to come over and block that shot. Something that Patrick was unable to do in the closing minutes of Game 3, and it cost the Knicks a couple of baskets when Otis Thorpe was driving to the basket. But right now, the Rockets have kind of a small forward group in there, even though Matt Bullard is 6'10", he's more of a perimeter guy. And Carl Herrera, not that big and strong. Consequently, we got Otis Thorpe coming back into the ballgame.
And Otis Thorpe re-entering despite 5 fouls. Robert Horry, a major loss, out the rest of the game. Herrera will sit down, so Rudy Tomjanovich will go with Thorpe, who has the 5 fouls. John Starks giving the Knicks a 75-72 lead by hitting 1 of 2, just under 5 minutes. Remaining fourth quarter, Knicks trying to tie the series at 2. Houston looking to go up 3 games to 1. Olajuwon couldn't handle it.
Another fronting job by Patrick Ewing, but the key here is the pressure by Derek Harper on the passer, Sam Cassell, forcing a tough pass and a turnover.
20th turnover by the Rockets. Ewing, and a loose ball foul is called. It's on Bullard. That is his second.
Well, the big, strong front line of the Knicks, and I'm talking about Mason and Oakley right now, really doing a lot of damage against Houston on the offensive boards. Thorpe has to be very careful with those 5 personal fouls, and Matt Bullard just not strong enough to hold those guys out.
Charles Oakley 4 of 6 from the line, a 78% free throw shooter. Yes, Matt Bullard at 6'10", 235 pounds. 4th NBA season out of Iowa. I must say has a different perspective on the game. He was a journalism major at Iowa.
Well, then he can really appreciate these last few days. And I think I did notice in one of the Houston papers, yes, he was writing a little column.
His dad, in fact, is bureau chief for the Des Moines Register in Iowa City. Knicks lead 77-72. Bullard guarded by Mason. 4:15 remaining. Fourth quarter. Olajuwon with the fadeaway. Hakeem Olajuwon has 28 points, and the Knicks lead 77-74.
That time Hakeem waited for all of his teammates to clear that area before he made his move on Ewing, something the Rockets were not doing in the first 3 games of this series.
Good look by Oakley, changed his mind. He saw Ewing cutting, and Ewing fouled. And for the first time tonight, Patrick Ewing will go to the line. The foul called on Olajuwon. That is his 4th.
Another screen roll situation, but instead of going up on the strong side, the shot that keeps getting, Olajuwon keeps blocking, Patrick tried to take it to the other side of the rim. It looked like there was no way he could get there, but he was able to draw the foul. It's been so long since he's been to the free throw line, there's no way he could feel comfortable there.
During the season, 76% free throw shooter. Right on, but a beautiful save. What a save by Oakley. That second free throw by Ewing, too strong off the back of the rim. Starks for 3. They've changed it to a 2. His foot on the line. The Knicks are arguing as a timeout is called. Now Joe Crawford just changed back to a 3. Joe Crawford with the indication that it is a 3-pointer. So the Knicks take an 80-74 lead.
Well, look at the hustle play here by Charles Oakley, which he does so often, running into the over the end line and trying to see John Stark's feet as he got behind Patrick Ewing's screen, and he nailed the 3-pointer.
Hakeem Olajuwon has been on fire. 28 points in all. His Rockets are down by 6. Well, Hakeem receiving much attention the other day when he appeared on the David Letterman show. He said to Dave, if we get up 3 games to 1, the Knicks will choke. But then pull back because obviously the Knicks are going to use that. I don't think he meant it quite that strong.
No, he really did. And again, you got to remember the little bit of a language barrier. I was talking to Bob Weinauer, the new general manager of the Rockets. He said he didn't mean it. Actually, the Knicks players didn't overreact to it. Pat Riley was a little happy he said it because it was something that his team could use.
Knicks lead at 80-74, and a foul called on Mason. Charles Oakley with 16 points, 19 rebounds, 13 of the 19 rebounds in the second half, and Matt, 9 offensive rebounds. The record for offensive rebounds in the NBA Finals, 11. That is held by Elvin Hayes. Otis Thorpe, 0 for 2 from the line. Charles Oakley doing it on 2 bad feet.
That was going to be the key to this ballgame, Marv. Again, because of the bad feet, he looked like he was hobbling the other night. If he's able to give the Knicks that kind of effort, it bodes well for New York.
Knicks lead by 5, 3:20 remaining. Fourth quarter. Knicks trying to tie the series at 2. Patrick Ewing making his way closer to the basket, hitting with the driving hook to extend to a 7-point lead. 16 points for Ewing, but he's 8 for 26 from the field. Just under 3 minutes to go on the fourth. Thorpe for Herrera. It counts, and the foul. Blocked by Ewing, who was called for his 4th.
Well, Olajuwon with 4 personal fouls, just 3 minutes to go in the game, so not that big a factor here. But this is a move with authority by Patrick Ewing, as he got his steps right and guy-balled the rim nicely for that little hook shot. And this drive and dish to Carl Herrera all set up because Ewing was fronting Olajuwon on the other side of the floor, and that lane opened up, and Patrick could not get there in time. So we keep talking about Olajuwon not scoring so much in other fourth quarters, but his presence a lot of times creates open shots for his teammates.
Herrera completing the 3-point play. The Knicks 82 and the Rockets 78. 2:45 remaining fourth quarter. Hopper played by Cassell. Sam Cassell has played most of the game this evening. Maxwell facing Starks, who hits the 3. John Starks with another 3-pointer. And the Knicks lead by 7. Rockets call for a timeout.
Well, the pet play for the New York Knicks. Screen and roll out on the right side. Timing is just about right as Patrick starts to come. Maxwell adjusting his feet. And John Starks can either take it into the lane or do what he did just there, pop behind the screen and fire the 3.
And the Knicks are doing it from downtown. They are now 7 of 17 from 3-point land. Well, both teams continue to fire away from beyond the 3-point arc. Tonight, the Knicks and Rockets have combined for 34 3-pointers. Game 3, they set the record with 36 combined. Eric Hoffer with 5. That's 1 short of tying a record for a finals game. As Olajuwon made his move, he is fouled. It's a hold on Ewing, number 5, charged to Ewing.
Ewing and Olajuwon battling inside as the Rockets setting that up during the timeout. And In fact, they did not necessarily want to come out and look for a three-point shot, trailing by 7 at this point. They want to first go inside to Olajuwon, see what he can get, possibly a three-point play going to basket. If he were to get double-teamed, then kick it back outside for a possible open three-point shot.
Hakeem, a 72% free throw shooter. The Knicks 85, the Rockets 80 as we come up on 2 minutes remaining in the fourth. Offering starts in the backcourt. Ewing, Mason, Oakley up front. Offering played by Cassell. Shot clock at 10. Ewing with the off-balance shot. Rebounded by Mason. Pops it out. And the Knicks reset. Huge offensive rebound by Anthony Mason.
Well, the Knicks forced to take a tough shot by Ewing with the shot clock winding down, but Oakley and Mason have been killing the Rockets on the glass.
Ewing trying to adjust it against Olajuwon. Here comes Cassell going behind the back, going 1-on-2. Mason and Maxwell chased. Last touch by Mason. Sam Cassell, who, as we mentioned at the start, has his ups and downs, has done a good job once again, but at times will be out of control, and we just saw an illustration of that.
Well, open floor, he's thinking get to the basket in any way. He pushes off a little bit there with his right hand, still unable to get the shot off as he hung in the air, and the Rockets get a big break as Anthony Mason touched that ball, knocked it out of bounds.
22nd timeout was called by the Rockets with 1:22 to go in the fourth quarter. And Hakeem has certainly done the job in the fourth. After not doing it offensively, as you mentioned, he's done other things in the fourth quarter. But tonight, he's put it all together. 5 of 6, 12 points in this fourth quarter. So 12 of his 30 have come in the fourth. The Knicks 85, the Rockets 80. Minute 20 remaining. Foul, but here's the whistle from Hugh Evans. A push is called, and that is number 6. Patrick Ewing has fouled out. He tried to step away, and obviously unhappy about that call.
It's the same play that the Rockets last ran coming out of that timeout, with Otis Thorpe curling and taking the big man who can't come over and double team. Maxwell, the good feed. That contact on his spin, so he creates a little room on that jump shot. And with all the banging and pushing going on, very, very tough call on Patrick Ewing there, as it did not appear that he pushed out at all. And a tough break for Patrick Ewing and the New York Knicks.
So Ewing departing with 16 points, 15 rebounds, but again, a strange game. 8 for 28 shooting as a follow-up on the 9 of 29 in game number 3. Timeout call with 1:13 remaining in the fourth quarter, and the Knicks up by the count of 85 to 81. The Knicks seeking to hold on to tie the series at 2. Houston looking to go up 3-1 as they look to game number 5 of this best-of-7 NBA Finals series. That'll be here at Madison Square Garden on Friday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time. If there is a game 6, these two clubs return to Houston Sunday night. The Rockets with 20 points here in the fourth quarter, and Hakeem Olajuwon has 13 of the 20. He's 3 for 3 at the line. 32 points. The Knicks with a 3-point lead, and now trying to hold on without Patrick Ewing, who fouled out. Charles Smith replacing Patrick Ewing. We come up on 1 minute remaining in the fourth. Oakley sets the pick. Shot clock down to 8. Oakley comes out again. Here's Starks taking it to the basket, and the foul is called against the Rockets.
Well, a little hesitation move, and John Starks sees that little opening, takes it strong to the basket, as this is pretty much what the Knicks have to do with Patrick Ewing on the bench, fouled out, happy with that play by John Starks as he goes to the free throw line. It's either got to be a post up for Mason or some kind of pick and roll in by either Harper or Starks.
And that was number 5 called on Olajuwon. The Knicks have not shot well at the line. They're now 9 of 16. Starks 3 of 5, 17 points. Knicks lead 86-82. 52 seconds remaining in the fourth. Clutch free throws for Starks. And the Rockets call for time. The Knicks lead by 5. Welcome back to Madison Square Garden in New York. 52 and 5/10 seconds remaining in the fourth. New York 87, Houston 82. Rockets down to 1 timeout remaining. Knicks of 3, both teams over the foul limit. Patrick Ewing has fouled out. Hakeem Olajuwon playing with 5. And this crowd urging the Knicks on. Otis Thorpe will throw in.
And no doubt look to go inside to Olajuwon. If he gets double teamed, look out for the 3.
Maxwell looking inside. Olajuwon facing the double team, broken up by Oakley.
Well, Mason doing a good job of fronting and keeping his body on him as the Rockets have been going to this play, but an excellent defensive play by Charles Oakley. That's what they call a help. Coming down and knocking that ball out of bounds to save what would have been an easy lay-in for Olajuwon.
It has been a sensational all-around game for Charles Oakley, despite problems with both feet. 20 rebounds, 16 points for Oakley. Shot clock is down at 11 as Bullard fires. That was a 3-point attempt. Here comes Starks. Starks going all the way to draw the foul. And he does. Hit by Bullard. He outraced Cassell. And that was met by Bullard.
Well, nice execution by the Rockets on the underneath out-of-bounds play, as Matt Bullard got an excellent look as Anthony Mason got there, but very late. And now John Starks secures the rebound for New York. And Pat Riley has his heart in his throat on this particular play because he has no idea where John Starks might be going, but he's happy to see him at the free throw line.
Starks 4 of 6 from the line. He has hit 3 foul shots in the final minute. He has 19. 31 seconds remaining fourth quarter. The Knicks 89, Rockets 82, and Rudy Tomjanovich calling for a timeout. We'll be back after these words from your local station. Well, Dikembe Mutombo, the Denver Nuggets fellow Georgetown alum, in a playful episode with Patrick Ewing just a moment ago during the timeout. Patrick firing the towel at Dikembe.
One of his better passes tonight.
Yes.
Now he had a couple tonight off the dribble drive.
Lonzo Mourning also on hand, along with Georgetown coach John Thompson. 7-point Knick lead. Harper with the rebound, run into by Cassell. 23 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter.
This will be Derek Harper's first free throws in this series. Now, he's been doing most of his damage from the perimeter, and in particular from behind the three-point line, and has not had many opportunities to drive the basket. You see the free throw shooting tonight as the Knicks much more aggressive in taking the ball to the basket.
We talked about that at the start of the telecast. But the Knicks going to the line for the most part here in the fourth quarter, which has to please Pat Riley. He was upset about that following game 3. Another strong game for Derek Harper. He has 21. The Knicks lead by 9. This one is headed back to Houston for certain. Maxwell throws up the air ball. So the New York Knicks able to tie the series at 2. There will be a Game 5 of the Garden on Friday night, and then it will be back to Houston for a game number 6 on Sunday, as time has run out on the Rockets. The Knicks defeat the Rockets 91-82. Hakeem Olajuwon, the high point man, with 32. Derek Hoffer with 21. And John Starks with 20 points. The Knicks with 31 points in the fourth quarter. Let's go to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Marv. Derek, a pressure game for you all, and you guys seem prepared to play tonight.
Yeah, we definitely did. I think more than anything, Ahmad, our intensity defensively was really up. And whenever we were able to get into our defense early, we were able to put together consistent basketball.
Great clutch shooting by you tonight. You seem to be shooting those threes on rhythm. 5 3-pointers tonight.
Well, I really feel comfortable shooting the basketball. This team has given us great shot opportunities, and I'm just stepping up, knocking the shots down. I'm real confident with what's going on.
And still enjoying yourself, huh?
I can't even explain how much.
All right, good luck to you, man. See you on Friday. All right, Marv.
All right, Derek Hopper hitting 5 of 10 from three-point land. And the Knicks beat the Rockets 91-82. The series is tied at 2. The NBA Finals continue Friday night. NBC Sports presenting Game 5 of this best-of-7 series. Join us at 9 o'clock Eastern as the Knicks and Rockets continue their quest for an NBA title. And tonight, after your local news, it's The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and then Late Night with Conan O'Brien, followed by Later with Greg Kinnear. So for Matt Dukas, Ahmad Rashad, Hannah Storm, Bob Costas, I'm Marv Albert. So long from Madison Square Garden in New York. This has been the NBA on NBC.